Good morning, and thank you for joining me today. And today's mask is from the Savannah Youth Council, who graduated last week from our program. We've had the Savannah Youth Council since 2004. I proudly co-founded the Youth Council with Mayor Otis Johnson when we were elected in 2004. And the Youth Council is an 8th grade program to foster engagement in government, learning about government, and creating great future Savannah citizens. So congratulations to the Savannah Youth Council class of 2021. We call it our COVID class, so congratulations to them. Last week I brought some important developments. First of all, we were uniquely situated and proud that Savannah hosted our 2 U.S. senators during the course of the week. As you know, Senator Ossoff was here on Tuesday. Senator Warnock was here Friday and Saturday. And so that was a great opportunity for us to not only spend time with them, but for them to see our city, for them to hear about our issues, our concerns, but more importantly about building relationships. We recognize that relationships with our senators is also relationships with Washington, D.C. And so we were very, very happy about that. Also, as promised, I announced a partnership with some truly brave, what we call warrior mothers, to address gun violence in our community. As Chief Mentor said last week, these are not the tools in the toolbox. This is the toolbox. These are just not regular run-of-the-mill mothers either. These sheroes have a very special investment in this issue, for they have paid the ultimate price as they've had their children, no matter how old they were, taken away from them due to gun violence. So what we are calling 100 ways and 100 days, that we're asking for the next 100 days, these supermoms, along with me and the City of Savannah, Chief Mentor, the Savannah Police Department, we are going hard in the paint for our young people. This is going to be 100 days of courageous conversations, and we're saying that for the next 100 days, we need super accountability in our community. As I said before, the police cannot mother our children. Mothers have to mother our children. And our coalition has made it simple by creating 10 ways that every mother in Savannah can keep their children out of harm's way this summer. And we believe that if every mother just focus on their children, whether they are 1-year-old or whether they are 80 years old, we're able to dramatically decrease violent crime in our community. We want you to follow the City of Savannah and Mayor Van Johnson on social media, and we will be posting reminders and resources throughout the summer. And when you see these posts, we want you to share them on your pages and social media so that we can amplify these reminders, so that mothers everywhere in our city will know what to do. 10 ways in 100 days. So use the hashtags 10 ways, 100 days, SAV, or you can use the hashtag, or should always use the hashtag Savannah Strong. Now naturally, during the week I've heard from fathers and mothers are saying, what about fathers? And why haven't you called out the fathers? And well, it does not make much sense to call out fathers on Mother's Day. But these are mothers that want to do this on Mother's Day. So fathers and mothers who want to call out fathers, be patient. In 40 days, your days are coming. Your turn is coming. So fathers, get ready, get ready, get ready. And I particularly want to thank our media partners, WTOC, WSAV, E93 Radio, Magic 103.9, WRUU, and that was it, right? I believe that was it. For partnering with us. They recognize the significance of what we're trying to do. And so by simply saying, parents, it's 11 p.m., do you know where your children are? It is a force multiplier for us to be able to make sure that parents have that accountability of knowing where their children are. So for our media partners, thank you so much for your partnership with us. And thank you for getting it. In other news, Amazon, little company, recognized that Savannah was a place to be, and they have announced that it will expand its significant presence in Georgia with a new fulfillment center in Savannah. This new facility will feature innovative Amazon robotics technology and will create 1,000 full-time jobs. And I'm thrilled that after months of about 8 months or so of hard work and negotiation back and forth by people working in the city's interest, that we can finally welcome Amazon to our community. Now, although this site is in unincorporated Chatham County, the role that the city played was absolutely central and essential. We provide water and sewer. If there's no water, no sewer, then there's no deal. No Amazon. So we worked with our partners at the Savannah Economic Development Authority and Trip Tollison and his team to make this happen for the benefit of our greater community. Teamwork makes the dream work. The economic impact is enormous, and Amazon's $15 an hour minimum wage, it falls in line to what we aspire to be the minimum wage in our community. The approximately 640,000 square foot Savannah facility will be located on Pine Meadow Drive and is expected to open in 2022. Employees will work alongside Amazon's innovative robotics technology to pick, pack, and ship smaller customer orders such as books, toys, and small household goods. So that means I might get my stuff the same day, maybe. Individuals interested in career opportunities with Amazon are encouraged to visit amazon.jobs for additional information. And when we talk about things like financial equity, opportunities like this are the key for making a reality, and I applaud Amazon for stepping up to the plate to offer more livable wages to Savannah. And that is what we're trying to do for our entire community. As a reminder, city employees who have been working remotely over the last year will start systematically and methodically returning to their city workplaces the week of May the 24th. A phased reopening of city facilities and programs to the public will begin on June the 1st. Employees will continue to wear masks and socially distance themselves from colleagues and customers. Certain facilities will continue to require temperature checks, and reduced capacity limits will be enforced. Registration for the 2021 weekly youth summer camps opened last week. The city will offer summer enrichment, arts, and recreation and athletic camps from June 7th through July the 30th. For more information about enrichment camps, visit savannahga.gov/enrichment. savannahga.gov/enrichment, or call 912-651-4211, 912-651-4211, or visit 912-525-2166, 912-525-2166. For more information about arts camps, visit savannahga.gov/art-camp, or call 912-651-6783, 912-651-6783. And for more information about recreation and athletics camps, visit savannahga.gov/rec-camp, R-E-C camp, or call 912-351-3841. All of our camps will follow COVID-19 guidelines. Beginning tomorrow, city staff will be in neighborhood parks and coffee shops and community events across the city where residents live, learn, and play to gather their feedback on the future of recreation in the city of Savannah. Recreation Reimagined is a City of Savannah initiative to improve, standardize, and reimagine the city's recreation and leisure facilities, programs, and services. An important part of this initiative is developing a 10-year Recreation Reimagined plan. And the city wants residents to reimagine recreation beyond what we have today, so what it could be in the future. And this is a chance for residents who use city parks, programs, and facilities to share their vision of what recreation can be in Savannah. For more information, you can call 651-6520, 651-6520. But this is really part of a bigger thing. For far too long, the city, the county, the school board, we've operated in silos. And the fact is, recreation is recreation, athletics are athletics, and I'm pledging that we're not going to think in silo thinking anymore. So although we'll gather information for Recreation Reimagined, we really have to have these courageous conversations about how we can do recreation better in our community, how we can ensure equity in our recreation facilities that we already own. And I think that the challenge for us is that when you look at some facilities across our city, they look one way, and you go into some of our inner cities and they look another way. That is not equity. Further, when you look at the city providing one thing and then the county is doing almost the same thing and then the school board is doing almost the same thing, that is not a good use of our community's funds. I mean, I'm a taxpayer. I pay taxes to all three. And I think as taxpayers, we should expect, taxpayers, we should demand that these entities work together to come up with a comprehensive plan of how to do recreation, how to do arts, how to do cultural services, how to do athletics throughout our community. So I will be reaching out again soon to our partners at the county and our partners at the school board, and we'll be bringing our respective staffs together. And ultimately, Savannah Reimagined is really going to be our community reimagined. We have to get out of the silo thinking. And so what we might come up with might be different than what we've had before. We're going to eliminate duplication, and we're going to coordinate services, and then we'll look at things that we don't have and see ways that we can be able to do that. And again, it just comes from an opportunity of people willing to work together to achieve a common goal, and I'm convinced that our partners at the county and our partners at the school board are willing to have those conversations. So stay tuned because there will be more of that yet to come. But we're going to stop operating as we have been operating. It's not cost effective, it's not comprehensive, and we can do better as a greater community. Thanks to the COVID-19 vaccines being widely available, we are starting to see a return to normalcy, slowly, real slowly. We continue to make vaccines available to Savannians with 3 mass vaccination sites in different areas of our city. The site at the Savannah Civic Center downtown is open on Thursdays from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. The vaccination clinic at the Georgia Southern Armstrong Center on the south side is open Tuesdays and Thursdays from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And at the drive-through site, the Gulfstream campus is open Tuesday through Saturday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. The site is giving the single-dose Johnson & Johnson vaccine and second doses of the Pfizer vaccine. The Georgia Emergency Management Agency has announced plans to close the state's 8 mass vaccination sites, including the one at Gulfstream, on May the 21st. The vaccines only work if people get them. And again, in our community, we're not being as vaccinated as fast as we want to. And people have complained about our mask ordinance. Well, my response is, you get vaccinated, you get us that much closer to getting rid of our mask mandate. I don't like them myself, but I recognize it's an essential part of our community safety. If we only have if we only have 1 person out of every 3 people in our community vaccinated, that's an issue. That's an issue. that means we're not getting to where we need to be. And that's a challenge for us. And then again, our streets are on fire, people from all over the place. You know, you don't know who they are, you don't know where they're from, what communities they're coming from. Again, this is about protecting our community, and it's about protecting our citizens, protecting our employees that work in our hospitality industry. So I'm fully vaccinated. I probably don't have to wear a mask, but you will see me most times wearing a mask. And it's not because I have any fear, but it's to be able to show the importance of wearing a mask. And I encourage Savannahans, if you are vaccinated, still wear the mask. Still wear the mask. I will tell you that my father came down with COVID. He's fully vaccinated, and it's run its course, and he's fine. No symptoms whatsoever. And so, again, we know that the vaccine works, and for people who say it does not work, then they need to figure something else out. It works. So we want you to know the facts. Get the vax. And if you have been vaccinated as I have, and you know somebody who is not, talk to them about your experience as I have. And I've shared why I've gotten the shot, and I encourage people to do the same. Unless you're willing to do something different to get us to what our new normal is going to be, then we don't get to our new normal. So for more information about Savannah's mass vaccination sites or the Coastal Health District vaccine locations, you can visit covidvax.311.com, covidvax.311.com. And as you know, residents can also use the city's 311 system to get information about COVID-19 vaccines and connect with local vaccination sites. We're also very excited to share an upcoming Hispanic vaccination event on Saturday, May the 15th from 1 to 4 p.m. at MedBay, 836 East 65th Street, Suite 12 here in Savannah. Free vaccines will be offered with individuals getting either the Johnson & Johnson single-dose vaccine or a second dose of the Pfizer vaccine. Free blood pressure and blood sugar screenings will also be available from Mercer University student volunteers. And we thank our community partners, including Tammy Brown with the Department of Public Health, also Daniela Rodriguez with the Savannah Undocumented Youth Alliance, Christine Magana with MedBank, Caitlin Dorsey with the Latino Medical Student Association at Mercer University, CORE, the Community Organized Relief Effort, and of course our very own Ola Savannah for making this event a reality for our Hispanic community. We are one community. So we're asking our media at 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. If you're interested in a job and cannot go to the arena site to apply, you can call WorkSource Coastal directly at 912-659-3555, 912-659-3555. So work is happening quickly, inside, outside, and underground, all at the same time at our new arena site as crews continue to keep this project on time and on budget. Finally, Savannah's first class of the Construction Ready program starts next week on May the 17th, and you can register online now at constructionready.org/new career. constructionready.org/new career. Additional classes will be offered, and it's important to get your application in now. This is a free 20-day construction education class, and it will teach the needed skills to begin a construction career, provide trainees with the needed and required credentials, and offer job placement at the end of the program. Finally, graduation. I've been finally for real this time. Congratulations to the graduates of Savannah State who graduated on Friday and Saturday, and Georgia Southern who's graduating Saturday and Monday through Thursday of this week. Be ready for the real world. The real world awaits you. That ends my prepared remarks, and I'll answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So first I want to talk COVID. I checked our community transmission yesterday, and we were at 101. So that's one off from our threshold from the state, I believe, to local mask mandate. And yesterday our daily case rate was 15, which we haven't been that low since I think May or June. So we talk about this slow getting back to normal. What does this mean for Savannah? What can we see for the future?
It means that the mask mandate is in place until May 31st. And again, between now and then, we'll be talking again with our local health professionals, and we'll make a determination. Again, we know that spikes and drops ebb and flow, and so I think it's important for us to be able to look at historical data when we look at where we are. The question is, if we go down to 99 and then go back up to 105, have we acted prudently? So again, we've gotten this far, and what I think we've done as well, because we've kept the faith and followed the science. And so I'll continue to lean on our local health professionals to give us their guidance. The fact is, people are still also going to the hospital because of COVID, and people are still dying in this community because of COVID. So again, I say easy does it, and again, you won't ever see us acting rashly. I think we have to look at trends.
The Colonial Pipeline cyber attack causing some issues with gas shortages, possibly, affecting us statewide and here in Savannah. Do you have any concerns about that?
Absolutely. I mean, just the fact that we had a major company to be infiltrated brings up huge national security concerns. I trust that those that are charged to do that are investigating that. But it just shows us how vulnerable we remain, and so I think it's important for all of us, particularly in this electronic and digital age, to do all we can to make sure that we are doing what we can to make sure that our infrastructure remains safe. As it relates to gas prices, I kind of saw that gas prices are going up, and that's the byproduct of what's happening, and so. We'll have to ride it out. I think it will stabilize once they get totally back online, but it'll be a rough couple of days. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor.
Good morning, ma'am.
My first question for you this morning is, I was thinking about this the other day. We've been talking a lot about the mask mandate here in Savannah, and people have been harping you about the fact that we still have the mask mandate. But it probably shouldn't be overlooked that Chatham County still has a mask mandate. So even if you were to lift it, Chairman Ellis's mask mandate we would still have in Savannah, correct?
Well, technically not, because obviously the mandate is really for the unincorporated areas, and then other cities can incorporate it. Obviously, in those cases, particularly regarding some emergency orders, the city is acting independently. But yeah, theoretically, the county does still have one. But again, I guess the city is an easier target. And then when you look across the state to see cities that still have mask mandates, many of them have remained. Obviously, some of our friends in the low country are relaxing theirs. Maybe their experience is different. Again, we have, at our best days, 15 million visitors a year. We've experienced over the last several weeks over occupancy in our hotels. Again, our streets, people are packed. And I think, again, for us, we have to address the issues as it relates to us. We have people who work in the hospitality industry that are taking care of rooms and serving and all these things. They come in contact with people. And so for many of our businesses, they have actually applauded the mask mandate because it allows them to have the cover to do a mask mandate. So, we recognize that. And again, it's important for me to wear a mask because it's important for people to show that we're not back to normal yet. I don't want to take down that mask mandate sign until we are absolutely in the clear, number one. And then I don't want to remove the red lights. Remember the red lights on City Hall. City Hall has been red at night for well over a year now. And I don't want to extinguish that red until, again, we have declared this to be over. So I don't want to rush. I think it behooves us not to rush. And, people are saying, I'm not getting the vaccine. Let's look at our vaccination numbers. And I guess back to Alex's question about it is that if our numbers are going down, but if the two in every three that are not vaccinated, if they become infected, our number shoots back up. And now we're talking about variants and all of those different types of things. So I think that our health partners are wise in telling us just to hold steady at this point. And so again, we're moving in 30-day increments as opposed to 60-day increments as we have been. And so we'll just see what happens toward the end of the month. It's my expectation again that hopefully by the 4th of July we'll be in a different place. It all depends on our numbers. It all depends on who gets vaccinated.
And also going back to Alan's question about the community transmission rate, you had talked about how even if we do drop below 100, we could shoot back up. And so while 100 is the threshold that has been put in place by the state, do you think that you'll look for a lower number before you feel comfortable saying, okay, it's time to take a mask off?
Absolutely. We're not wedded to that 100 number. That was the number that the state placed out there. I think that Savannah has shown its propensity to follow the science. And so if we drop in the 90s, we might still have a mask mandate. Again, the goal is to make sure that, I think it's more disruptive to stop a mask mandate and then reinstitute a mask mandate. So again, we're going to be prudent. We're going to be very diligent and very judicious in terms of moving mask mandates.
Do you think it's a little confusing for some of our businesses about us still having that mask mandate and then the governor saying you don't need a mask to work in a restaurant? It's
been confusing for the last year. We have not spoken with a singular voice, and it's been very confusing for everybody, which is why the CDC guidance, although it's guidance, is not necessarily applicable to Savannah, because really applicable to Georgia, because the governor's order, well, the CDC guidance says, well, we think you should still wear a mask indoors, but in Georgia, masks are not required indoors. So that's kind of the problem that we have because we did not follow the national guidance from the beginning. Right now, the national guidance kind of conflict with what we're doing here, which is why we have to do what's best for us here. Because again, if we say no mask mandate outdoors, there's already no mask mandate indoors. So again, we lead ourselves to a possible community spread situation. So again, for us, steady as she goes. For us, again, making sure that we're following the science and we're looking at the whole broad spectrum of numbers and not necessarily just the community spread index, not just the 7-day or the 14-day rolling average, not just the vaccination rate.
And I know when the state announced that they were closing their mass vaccination sites, we talked about the likeliness that the city's mass vaccination sites could also close if they're not seeing the numbers that you want to see. What's the latest on that?
We're still having these conversations. I think that ultimately we're going to have to look at really going to a more granular neighborhood-based approach. I have offered to our health partners the city facilities to do that if they need it to operate out of communities. You know, the vaccine hesitancy is real, and our weather and seeing people out and about have given people a false sense of security as it relates to our current situation. So it might need to be one-on-one. Some cities you go to and you get tickets for games and all these things, you get a free drink. Well, we don't have any of that to give. But again, speaking about the necessity of people being safe and doing that in communities, in people's homes, where they feel comfortable, might be the next phase of this. And so if our health partners are interested in pursuing that, I'm more than interested in partnering with them.
And that kind of turns to my next question. Like you said, a lot of places are offering incentives for getting the vaccine. Is that something that the city is considering at all? I know you said it's tough.
Now, I don't know what incentives we can offer. I mean, $1 off your taxes. I don't know. We don't have that real corporate, way of being able to do that. Although it might be something we could talk with our business community about for retailers locally here to say, hey, people like getting drinks, so maybe that might be an opportunity to encourage people to do it. But on the other end, we just don't have the wherewithal of an NBA team or an MLB team to say, hey, come on in, get your free ticket while you're watching the game.
You're going to have a hockey team now, so that's...
Yeah, but that's not till what, next year. So yeah, so we could probably give free tickets for the hockey game that's going to happen. Yeah, right. And people will be like, yeah, right. So yeah, changing gears.
And maybe my last question for you. Did you guys find this today? You talked earlier about summer camps and following COVID-19 protocols. I know there are some parents that are upset about kids having to wear masks while they're at camp, and it's really hot outside in the summer. What are your thoughts on that?
The camps are voluntary. If they're going to be in a City of Savannah camp, they're going to follow City of Savannah rules. There are plenty of other options out there, but on the other end of it, some of these same parents, if their child comes home with COVID, then they'll say, their lawyer will say, the city had a duty to protect this child. So again, I think that we have recreational professionals who know recreation. There's a difference between wearing masks when you are in close contact and different than wearing masks when you're out running and playing. I don't think anybody expects that, kids are going to be running races with masks on their face. It doesn't make sense. We don't require that now. But, for purposes of being inside of a building, for purposes of being engaged in close proximity to others, where masks are reasonable, then we fully expect that masks will be worn. And again, if a parent doesn't like that, then they could try other options for their child for summer camp.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. I'm glad you're telling her.
I mean, I'm just trying to help my friends out here.
Help her.
Good morning, Mayor.
Good morning.
Thank you, years as always.
Yes, sir.
Touching back on the hockey team here, is the Savannah Arena still looking good as far as progress? Everything still on time on that?
Oh, absolutely. As a matter of fact, met with our partners at OVG, Oakview Group, who is managing the arena yesterday and today. Things are looking good. I'm still trying to get Beyonce here to open us up. Y'all are laughing, but I mean, that's still a possibility. I mean, I'm just saying, this is going to be a game changer for our community. And I think finally, after 20 years, you see this building substantially out of the ground. And you're seeing the glass in, and soon this building is going to be totally closed in, and all of the work goes on in the inside. Savannahans and people in Chatham County have invested in a world-class arena for what we call a world-class city. And so I'm excited for what that means for our community. Not only the hockey, not only the concerts, but really the investment in the west side of Savannah that I've worked on for years, of being able to reconnect what institutional racism did. I mean, you know, it is what it is. You had very, very heavy industrial uses that abutted neighborhoods and communities. And for people who were growing up and working there at those time, it really created a barrier between the downtown core and the west side communities, which was a real barrier. And so for us to connect them is an opportunity again to connect our city. And we're not talking about a really far distance, we're really talking about a walkable distance. So it's going to be exciting for what this means for our community. It's going to be exciting to see local people and local businesses benefit from this. It's going to be exciting to see the economic driver it's going to bring for the west side, particularly as we insist on smaller businesses, local businesses, really having an opportunity to benefit from this building being here. And so I'm excited about it, and we're looking at January 2022, which is not that far away.
Not that far at all. No. The next question for you, an update on city manager search. How's that going?
It's going. We are actively engaging. We, I think, have a good search firm. We have met, and we've had at least 2 sessions in which we were narrowing down the candidates. The ultimate goal is to come up with a number of candidates that will participate in the assessment center process, and then we'll interview with the entire council, at which point we will then come down to a lower number of finalists, 3 or less, that we will then invite to Savannah to participate in a community process as we did before. So we're on time, and we're on schedule, and we're hoping to have Savannah's next city manager named relatively soon. So that's good news on that front. Thank you.
Before I pass this to Sarah, going off of that, what is the time frame for hiring city manager? I know you said that you want it to be soon. Is there like a month or anything that you're all looking at?
Well, I think worst case scenario by the fall, that's worst case. Best case scenario by midsummer. So I think again, you know, the process is moving pretty rapidly. It's moving pretty smoothly. Again, I've employed some different methods this time to ensure that it's a little less contentious and really based more off of the knowledge, skills, and abilities of the individuals. So it's much more, at least, objective to this point. And then once we get into the interviews and the community meeting, I think it'll become more subjective. And then ultimately, we'll make a decision. Thank you.
I just want to make sure everyone else can go first.
Yes.
And obviously right now we know a lot more people are ready to travel, a lot of people are visiting. What's kind of your message, what's your approach to getting both tourists and locals kind of on the same page right now, especially when we're talking about the mask mandate still in place?
Wear a mask in our city. Welcome to Savannah. Wear a mask in our city. Eat, drink, spend a lot of money. We're glad to have you here. We want you to come here healthy. We want you to keep our people here healthy. We want you to leave healthy, and we want you to live your best life. And so as your gracious host, we just love having people here, but on the other end of it, we want you to also care enough about us to make sure our community remains safe where you're going. And so we know that it's challenging for some of our tour companies. We want them to keep trying. They have some control over people who are on their tours. They wouldn't accept someone who is intoxicated. You know, again, this is a community-based effort, and again, we're still holding them accountable for it as well. Got something else?
That's it.
You sure?
Yeah. I have something.
Changing gears.
I just wanted to follow up on the Amazon Fulfillment Center.
Yes.
I know Savannah's economy has fared a lot better than others, but COVID obviously had a huge impact. I know this isn't coming, I think, until 2022, But I mean, how important and how, good is the timing on something like that for the city, especially when we're looking at probably a long recovery?
Well, it's awesome. Again, I think Savannah is really blessed compared to many of the mayors I've talked to around the country. A lot of them are having a hard time. Their downtowns are not coming back. The economic drivers are not happening. And when you look at how blessed of a city Savannah is, we've been building an arena during a pandemic and have not stopped. Most of our businesses have remained open for most of that pandemic. Likewise, here it is, during a pandemic, we're engaging with Amazon. As many communities want Amazon in their community, begging for Amazon in our community, and we were able to land Amazon in our community. I think that speaks to the viability of Savannah, it speaks to the strength of Savannah, and it really speaks to what the business community globally feel about the viability of Savannah. Senator Ossoff and I were at the ports of Savannah, and again, how we're growing over there. So again, I think, the sky's the limit for us, and, our best days are still ahead of us. We lost some businesses, but the reality is we gained a lot more businesses. And so, I think we learned some things about ourselves. And so, I'm proud of my city. I'm excited about what this means for our city. And I think that we're positioned to really do well.
Thank you, and I like your tie.
Thank you. Very good. If you don't feel good, you might as well look good, right? All right. Is there anything else? All right. Well, Chief is gone. Okay. Okay. Well, we had a couple of shooting incidents over the weekend. And it is what it is. I mean, when you look across the country, I mean, not only shooting incidents, but mass shooting incidents, we have an issue. And this is not specific to Savannah, which is why it's really important to me that we have to get more granular in our approach as it relates to this. I mean, we've expected government to save us from ourselves. That is not the role of government. It is not the role of government to teach responsibility. It's not the role of government to teach morality. That comes from the family, that comes from the village, that comes from the community. And so that's why I was so excited to have these moms, because these moms wanted to help other mothers not feel that pain. We have tomorrow, a mother's going to be burying her 22-year-old baby. And they wanted to help. And on Sunday, I got with Alderwoman Wilder Bryan, and we got on a roof. I mean, because they're saying, hey, if this is what we have to do to raise awareness, to have people to monitor just their own space, just their own children, then that is how we become a better community. And, again, you have naysayers, oh, that's not going to work. Well, I mean, you don't know until you try. And, again, we will never be accused of not trying. And, again, for those who, what fathers do, I mean, well, okay, fathers are going to have their turn. Believe me, because it takes everybody. It takes everybody. But they play different roles. And we recognize that mothers are the nurturers. And so we recognize that mothers have far more influence on their young people than their fathers. I love my mama and my daddy, but I'll do things for my mama that I may not do for my daddy. And if my mama tells me to put the gun down, I'm going to put the gun down because of the esteem I have for her. And so it's one thing to say I love my mama on Mama's Day and Mother's Day, but on the other end, not do what she asked me to do, so that she's not burying you. So we're going to go hard in the paint, and we're going to continue to try and lift every stone, and be careful. Grandparents' Day is coming up. I might have something for grandparents, but we're going to do all that we can until Savannah is the beloved community that we know that could all be. God bless you all. May God bless Savannah. Wash your hands. Wear your mask. Watch your distance. Go Savannah.